Hello again, I'm Anna Delman. It is day number 182, halfway home to 365 in my note writing journey, and I am very encouraged within myself to have achieved that goal. When I first started, I couldn't see myself getting that far. I thought I would give up, but every day I did it, it encouraged me to do it more and more and more. So it goes to show, friends, that if we commit to something and we stick to it day by day by day, even the hard and difficult things, we will achieve our goal. Now, it is Sunday, and therefore it's the week in review of what I discussed this past week. I think each day I pretty much covered in depth what my heart needed to be working on, working through, coming to conclusions, and establishing a solid foundation on which to move forward. And that's the reason I do this. I want to encourage others that you too can make changes. So being day number 182, and before I discuss what I did each day, I started this journey. It was to address my health, surgery, recovery, getting life back on track, reaching those goals that I had to put on hold for so long because my health didn't cooperate. I have not been able to keep up with my walking as mentioned a week or two ago. City police put out a Facebook post cautioning the public, the citizens, to the new threat. Or it wasn't new, it's been happening for quite a while, but it had been stepped up where marked taxis and unmarked taxis were not too safe anymore. My heart feels, as much as it inconveniences me, because there are a lot of taxis around our neighborhood, because we are a 10 to 12, 15 minute, depending on how quickly you walk, from the city center. Years ago, I used to walk it in 10 to 12 minutes. It would most probably be a 20-minute leisurely walk. But saying that, we're on a thoroughfare that there are lots of taxis around. Now, as much as that inconveniences me, I feel so bad for people who depend on those taxis and to get to and from work. Now, it's not all the taxi drivers. When I first arrived back here, wherever I needed to go, I used a taxi service to get to and from. Sometimes I would use it 2 or 3 times a day, sometimes 4 times a day to get around. And I prefer to do that to getting a car, because it allowed for me to get to know the community, to get to know the people whom my work would impact, specifically when I worked as a volunteer in a disability situation. Much of that was learning to know the people, and I could talk to them about their cultures, etc., and I appreciated that. So as much as it affects me not being able to go out walking, I just think it's very sad. Can you imagine being a young woman or a young man, or an older lady, older man, you're getting into a taxi and they take you out somewhere and rob you blind and abandon you, and you're in the middle of nowhere, darkness, you don't know where you're going, or even daylight, if you in a panic, you aren't truly aware of where you're going, or they take you to an ATM and with a knife at your throat, you are forced to withdraw everything you possess. Very tragic, I think, to those affected. Needless to say, it has curtailed my walking. I just need to find another way to be more active so that I can be healthier. My Bible time, my spending time in the Word of God, I need to step that up. I did start with a Bible reading plan, which I shared way back. I will share that again in the next week or two as I move forward, because I need to get that reactivated and disciplined daily. I don't do the full plan that I had started. It always dwindles down, and I need to step up. I'm halfway, 182. The next 182 days need to bring those changes. My writing, I need to step it up. I want the book done. I want to find an agent. I want to have my work go out there to be of encouragement to others. Life is hard, and sometimes we just need to read something that directs us the way we should be going. So let's get back to my week in review. Day number 176 was Let me turn that over. Working towards the beauty of grace, spiritual fortitude, disciplines to grow, fruit, strengthen friendships of support and care, and finish my writing projects. Already I know I'm lagging, and that is not a good thing. I need to utilize my time more effectively. Day 177, can it be said that my soul, my heart, that I am cast down? Yes or no? And then we discussed the difference between a cast down soul and depression. The one could lead to the other, but the one is not the other. And that's when I started looking at Psalm 42 and delved into that. It is so true, right? Day 178, is my cause, my walk, my life in danger of falling off the foundation, or is the cornerstone secure? Nope, never. I will never fall off, because I'm anchored eternally, and that establishes my faith and feeds my faith. It is because of the Word of God is the truth, and it makes my life truthful, and the trust I have in that to do it. And then, friends, the more I think of that, the eternal grace that's given us when we put our faith in the God of the Bible, what an assurance that is. That is why we need to know it more and more and more, to build up our faith so that we can stand strong and true. And it is like in Psalm 42, where he continues to go back, "Oh, my soul, and why are you in turmoil within me? Hope in God." He instructs that. "My soul pants for you, O God." You cannot pant after something or long or desire to spend time with someone whom you don't know, and you can only get to like someone when you know them. Most people have no idea who the God of the Bible is. It's a God of their imagination and a God of their cultivation, and he's not God of the Bible, yet they call themselves a Christian. There is a difference, and that's where most of the issues with Christianity come into effect. If your God is not the God of the Bible and you're calling yourself a Christian, question again. Syncretism is real. Now, it can be very subtle in some cultures where people think historically their faith has been Christian, their fathers, their grandfathers, their great parents were the same, so therefore they are. And all of that has just been brought down to traditional Christianity, and they hold their culture up as part of what being a Christian is. No, friends, not at all. That is syncretism. It might be subtle in your realm, but that's what it is, and you need to consider the difference. If you are wanting to be the best version of your culture so that others can see you as, say your culture is an orange, and you the best orange on the shelf and the best orange in the bag, that is really what you want others to see about you. But that doesn't necessarily mean beyond the peel there is sincerity of heart in there, and that your heart focus is honoring God of the Bible, because all you're doing is looking out for other oranges whom you can impress. You're not looking to go out in the fruits of the field and be seen as a good fruit, because God is telling you what a fruit should be, and your orange is not saying, "I'm the orange, I'm the best there is." And I hope that makes sense. I'm using that as an example, not to offend anybody or not to name or shame. I don't want to do that, but that is a universal issue. Put your culture and traditions aside. It is not Christianity. It may not be wrong if Christianity, the Bible, is talking into it, but apart from the Bible talking into it, syncretism, God of your imagination. Day 179, cutting to the bone. Is this the result of your double talk, guilty or not? And that is when I looked at this here, where it is in verse, here it says, wound in my bones, the taunting, the stabbing, the attacks on your character, etc. Is this a result of your double talk? Is it something you have done, or are you freed from it, guilty or not? You need to examine it so that you can walk wisely, have the wisdom to progress beyond where you are. And can the Word of God expose you that expose your reality that deeply? Yes, it can. And I quoted Hebrews 4:12, that the word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword and able to discern the thoughts and intentions of the heart. It goes all the way down to the marrow of the bone to tell you who and what you are and how you're functioning about life. And then the word of God can go that deeply and explain that no matter how deeply the hurts, no matter how cast down you are, no matter how injured and wounded you have been, that God's love and faithfulness and truth goes deeper still to lift you up and build you and comfort you. That is ours, friends, when we pursue God and we get to know him. So we can say, my heart pants for God, because we have learned of his faithfulness through spending time in the word of God. Day number 180. So where am I with my experiences akin to those described in Psalm 42? And I talked about forgiveness and restoration, and what can't be taken from us is joy, peace, and hope. And how do we get that? Because of the truth, and which equals and boils down to our faith. What are you putting your faith and trust in? And then day number 181, leading where, with who, who's following. Describe them and their understanding of their place in community and society, and do the same with yourself, and then weigh it all. Friends, we always need to be examining and discerning our hearts to see if there's any wicked way within us, to see if we contributed, what we did wrong. Even if we believe we stepped out with the hopes and the desire to be of an encouragement to do what is right, was that because we were trying to project ourselves, or were we trying to be obedient to God? Fine line there, friends. We need to discern that. If we did it for any other reason other than honoring God, we are in error as well, and we need to evaluate that and admit it to ourselves. Always we need to be examining, what did I do? What was my contribution? Am I free because God has exposed my reality with the Hebrews 4:12, examining my heart so that I can know how I'm walking before him and how I'm walking before others. So friends, that is the week in review, and that is my halfway mark. I'm applauding myself because I've reached a goal which I'm grateful, because of the grace of God enabling me to do so. I'm looking forward to the next 182 days, and I will be back tomorrow on day 183 to continue sharing and encouraging others along the way. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will keep sharing, and hopefully I'm encouraging you along the way. Take care and God bless. Until tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.